Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Rock the Mic. Guys, I've been away for a long time, but happy to be back. Happy to be back. There are a few things I want to get out there. Guys, big things happening in St. Mary. Big things happening in St. Mary, particularly around the Port Mary area. And I just want to put a little shout out for these guys. The, how should I say, it? The Cricket Association. The Cricket Association. They are, they are having, how should I say, it? The Cricket Association, they're having an extravaganza in on October the 18th. They're having this extravaganza October the 18th, and this will be held at the Boscobel Cricket Ground, the Boscobel Cricket Ground in St. Mary, October the 18th. Don't forget it. It's going to be the Bronx Crusaders against the Jimmy Adams St. Mary Stalwart. Please, I hope you remember Jimmy Adams, former West Indies cricket captain. And it's to really celebrate and pay tribute to one of the great men who helped St. Mary cricket, Dr. Crawford. It's going to be in his memory. Dr. Crawford did everything for cricket in St. Mary, took most of the money from his own pocket just to help these guys along. And maybe tomorrow I can get the organizer, none other than Vincent Quaker Dixon. I'm sure anybody who followed cricket in St. Mary remembers that little left-hander, that guy who could hit the ball to any part of the ground, the guy who made bowlers from all over tremble. But it's going to be a showcase of many former cricketers from the 70s and the 80s. People like Michael Dixon, Vincent Dixon, like I said, Uton Dow. Remember Uton Dow, our famous pace bowler from Jacks River. We're going to see Ralston Samuels and none other than Roel Worrell, former pace bowler and also batsman. Toussaint Hassan. They're going to get a lot of them. Keith McRae, my former schoolmate. So, guys, we're asking you on October the 18th, starts at 10 a.m. in the morning, October the 18th, at the Boscobel Cricket Ground. Come out and have lots of fun seeing some of these guys you used to cheer on in the past. And hey, why not cheer them on again? So I'm trying to get Mr. Dixon on maybe tomorrow and see if we can find some more information. So it's going to be the Bronx Crusaders. A lot of guys coming from overseas flying in just for this against Jimmy Adams and the St. Mary Stalwarts. And like the poster said, they're going to be lots of fun and giveaways. So guys, please come out and support. Anyway, back to what we have in store for this evening. Back to what we have in store for this evening. Guys, you know, Port Maria, St. Mary has been one of the parishes that has been neglected. But we have a group of gentlemen here who, and the lady who have decided to step up and bring St. Mary to the forefront. They're going to try their best to bring St. Mary to the forefront. And let's hear from them. So, up first, we have Mr. Rick Henry. And here is Rick. Welcome, Rick. How are you, sir?
Good. Thank you for having us. Really appreciate this.
Okay. And next, we have Chase Neal. Welcome, Mr. Neal.
Thank you, Sir
Is the
Waller.
mic okay, Mr. Neal? Oh, good.
Can you hear
All
me?
right. And yes, sir, loud and clear. And last but by no means least, the man who used to float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, says he still can do it. One of our former boxing greats, none other than Sakima Mullings. Mr. Mullings, greetings, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. How's everything?
All right, everything's fine. Everything is fine. But guys, first, let me show everybody that poster that we have up. I want everybody to see this poster to make sure they know what we're all about. So, guys, here we go. If you look on your screen, you see Port Maria Heroes Day, a bash at Pagee Beach. I don't know, even though I swam there many times, I cannot recall the proper spelling of Pagee, whether it's two G's, I know it's two E's, but this will be on Sunday. Okay, guys, now listen carefully. Listen carefully. There's been some change in the date, I think October 30th, but instead of 3 to 6, it's going to be 1 to 6 more time. So I'm going to ask Mr. Henry first. Mr. Henry, Could you explain to us whose brainchild is this? Whose brainchild is it?
Well, I will tell you, myself, um, Sakima, and Christine, and Chase, along with some of our other counterparts, Dwight Spence, Cashry Cassels, we've all worked together in the past, and I just thought let's get some sand sports going more so in Fort Maria, wrestling, boxing, and football. Let's see if we can get as many people out as possible. Let's have some fun, some music, some food, get some, like I said, more exposure for Port Maria. You know, Port Maria, Pagee Beach is my favorite place in the world. I could go out there all morning, all day, all night as well. Great place.
Okay. So are you originally from Port Maria?
No, originally from Montego Bay, up in the back of the bush, right? That's where I'm originally from. My dad's people are from the Haywood Hall area.
Okay.
I just love the area.
You
It's
just
the best coastline I think in Jamaica.
true, 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 true. So let me ask you, why Pagee and not say Clements Park? Why Pagee and not Clements Park?
Well, I don't know Clemens Park for one thing, and like I said, I just love Pagee Beach. It's cool. It's real Jamaica. You know, it's not a tourist resort. It's just you get the real deal. Real fishermen, real people, the real kids hanging out on the beach. Just real people hanging out at some of the local establishments. I just love the whole real Jamaica feeling of Pagee Beach.
All right, good. And now we see on the poster you're gonna have various things like boxing and wrestling and soccer, football.
Yeah.
No, let me turn to Mr. Mullings. Mr. Mullings,
Yes, sir.
you have been a boxer for, a very, very long time.
My
Okay,
whole life,
you
I was
the
born to fight.
you've been the man. You have been the man. You have carried the Jamaica boxing flag for a very, very long time. No, in light of what's going on in Jamaica, Sakima, why a sport like boxing? Why something as violent as boxing?
For myself or for Jamaica.
For what we're planning for Paji Beach.
Oh, because boxing is martial arts, and at the end of the day, martial arts has transferable life skills. The same universe. There's certain universal principles that any child can learn from in regards to participation in martial arts, and boxing is just Western martial arts, right? At the end of the day, to become a boxer is to become disciplined. you
Uh
know
huh.
and one and the most important transferable life skill from it is discipline, and the discipline is so that every kid can take that and use that in any other aspect of their life, and a disciplined man or a disciplined child, disciplined woman will become a successful woman in anything that they apply themselves to. It also martial arts practicing in martial arts like boxing also develops perseverance and determination. No matter what you do in life, you're going to have setbacks, you're going to have failures. So you have to build up a level of resilience and resistance, especially in a country like Jamaica. So
Uh
and
huh.
then besides that, boxing, one man enters the ring, but you have a team. So you also learn how to work together as a team. You have to communicate. You have to learn to communicate effectively. Sports, boxing in general, the martial arts, you have to learn how to set small goals for yourself. So these are all of the transferable life skills that boxing and martial arts has to offer, and this is why we use boxing as a tool of intervention to reach youth. And it's not to say that, boy, well, we're using boxing because we're going to find the next world champion in St. Mary, but we want every kid to take away, just a little bit of the transferable life skills that they can learn from boxing, so that they can start to maybe apply them in their life, and then maybe use this as a catalyst to get a program that's more sustainable in terms of where a kid can really benefit, because it can't happen in one setting, and it can't happen in one outing. For them to really get the benefits of becoming disciplined, for understanding perseverance, for learning to communicate better, learning to work with your team, learning how to set goals. It has to be something that's sustainable and reputable, and has to be done over and over and over again until a kid adopts that and it becomes a part of their life. But that's why boxing is so important, and the martial arts is so important for our youth.
Yep. Sakima, all well and good, the social aspect. But do you have any plans to introduce this into, say, the schools, high school level or maybe primary school level?
Well, absolutely. And myself, I'm actually the current boxing coach at Charlie Smith High School, and that's through the Fight for
Oh,
Peace
okay.
program. Right. So I teach boxing every Thursday at Charlie Smith High School. In there, they have a club hour where they allow for the kids to participate in different clubs, things that they show interest in. And one of the things that I have been doing over the last 2 3 years is teaching boxing at a club in Charlie Smith High School, where we want to expand that program. We also have a program in Kingston Technical High School where Jonathan Hanson is the coach there. And I believe there's a new program starting at St. Andrew Technical. So we're at the stage right now where we want to get all parties together and we want to create a small tournament where maybe, like this could be the catalyst of reintroducing boxing into the schools in Jamaica. Boxing hasn't been into the schools in Jamaica since maybe the 1960s. So that's about maybe 60 years absent. And then maybe this could be the catalyst of it. We could be the catalyst of bringing boxing back into the schools, because I think based off the nature of our boys, based off the aggressive nature of our culture, boxing is one of the things that I think would do well in regards to helping our youth understand conflict resolution. And another one of the transferable life skills that I didn't mention that martial art offers, it's about just having a level of confidence. And usually when you
Okay.
find that you have like a high level of confidence in confrontational situations, it becomes easier to walk away. And
To walk
then
away.
two also, what we also recognize is that the person that occupies the space of maybe like bullies within our society, each bully, I like to say, is an amateur psychologist. And based off of your level of confidence,
Okay.
based off of the levels of confidence that you exude in the way that you walk and the way that you talk, the bully knows kind of like when to push and when to walk away
And when to,
themselves.
yeah, you got to know when to hold them, when to fold them. But by the way, Sakima, anybody ever told you you have a resemblance to Roy Jones?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah, man.
actually I've been fortunate enough to meet Roy Jones and to actually interview him and to be in his
Uh,
presence. And we have a photo. Even my mother myself said that when she saw it, she said, "You look like Roy Jones. You look like his son or his little brother." So
oh,
I've definitely been told it before that I definitely I have a physical resemblance
yeah,
to
you
Roy
have that
Jones.
resemblance, man. Yeah. Now, let me ask, Mr. Neil, what part do you play in this? Chase,
Yeah,
what part do you play in this whole thing?
all right. So I've been a co-organizer with Mr. Henry over the years, in particular for the young people. I've availed my cadet organization also support these endeavors to bring the young people in St. Mary. So I give the human
So,
resource. Yes.
so Chase, let me ask you, when we hear wrestling, we immediately think of WWE. What's your type of wrestling called?
WWE is actually false or theatric.
Yes, sir.
We do Olympic wrestling, so it's not the showy, more of a grappling martial art. You
Yeah,
see
uh-huh.
it in the Olympic Games, also called Greco-Roman wrestling. So that's
Right,
the
that's
type
what
of
I was going to ask you, Greco-Roman.
wrestling. Yeah. So that's the type
And
of wrestling.
how would wrestling help a youngster? Sakima just outlined his
Um,
whole philosophy. Mm.
yes, the same way as wrestling is a martial art, and comes various life skills such as discipline, as Sakima just explained. There is also learning to the psychological aspect, not only outwitting the bullying people. You have to be able to put this moving and switch with that with wrestling, so you have more of a contact, and that translates to getting to people more. So we find that
All right.
through wrestling, um, any martial arts really, we find that are more able to emotions. They learn to think ahead. They learn the confidence that comes with also being able to defend yourself. translates to many things, even in your career, even in academics. Just confidence, knowing that yes, I can do it. That comes from the martial art. That's a valuable asset for the young people. But I am in this endeavor. Not only I also want because
Hmm.
I'm my martial art before is karate and tai chi. But I want to learn boxing, and I want my young people to learn boxing because I'm interested in this new sport, chess boxing. So I can teach chess, but I can't teach boxing. Sport is untapped by the Caribbean, and I want to be the first country in the Caribbean world events in chess boxing. So I want the boxing and wrestling so that Jamaica can shine in the arena.
All right. Good idea. So for any one of you three gentlemen, I don't know who wants to take this. With this beach bash, most of the competitors, are they gonna be just fresh coming into this? Are they gonna be lacing up a glove or putting on that singlet for the first time? And if they are, how will you handle that?
I think I can answer part of that.
Hmm.
Some of the kids have some wrestling experience already, and or boxing. Some not, but also there's some guys from Ruthless Academy in Kingston as well.
Hmm.
Hybrid Fitness in Montego Bay. They're gonna bring some people down as well. So
Okay.
as well, Tyrese Tank Thomas is going to defend his Jamaica Beach Wrestling Championship. So,
Wait. Stick up in. There is a beach wrestling championship.
oh yes, it's first last this January, and next January is the second one. And actually, there's a belt too. There's a World Jamaica Beach Wrestling belt that Tyrese will be defending at Beach Bash.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is we'll have a couple of wrestling matches, some boxing scrimmaging as well, but this is normally scrimmage, an intro to many youth and adults, in the Fort Murray area. And we want this to be a yearly thing, right? Something to look forward to, and we'll build it bigger and bigger every year.
Okay. So let me ask any of you guys, either one of you, if a person from Portmore, if he wants to join in, where can he sign up? Can he just come out, sign up that day and participate or what? How would he go about this?
I think if I may, guys, I think they
Hmm.
come out that day. That's why we're giving such a broad window to come out and register.
Okay.
And join.
And and the whole thing, is it free for the public? Is it free?
Yeah, it's free, complimentary. Not free, it's complimentary.
Complimentary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
free for the public, no barriers to entry. Just come out.
come on
Just come
out.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me show you something here. And I don't know if Mr. Neil wants to just chime in and give a little explanation of what's going on here. Let's see. Let's see here. I'm going to turn this up and I'm going to share the screen and I'm hoping Mr. Henry can. Okay. This should be on the screen like right now. So, Mr. Henry, take a look at
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. I recall that. Yeah. That's our Theron Green Rose and Devon from 2020 or 2021, I believe, on a beach.
Okay.
Yep.
So that circle in the sand, they have to stay within that, right?
Yeah. Well, they have to stay in it, take the man to his back, like I call it, or take him out of bounds. Yeah. It's to score
Okay.
points. Yeah.
And there's no hitting or anything like that.
No striking. No
No
striking. But
striking.
funny you say that. There's a sport in Senegal called lamb, where they have these gloves on and they can actually wrestle as well. It's a real good sport.
Okay.
It's a great sand sport. In Senegal, kids, adults, they wrestle in stadiums, 20,000
Really?
piece stadiums. It's full. Lamb and wrestling is two of Senegal's national sports. kids grow up wanting to fight in the stadium. So
Wow.
I just feel that Jamaica sand is way underutilized, you know, for sports.
Wait, take a look at this move. Explain this throw to me. This throw coming up.
If I see, oh well, kind of like a hip toss, you can call that
Hmm.
hip toss. Just picked him up, you know.
So he gets points for that.
Yes, yes. If he went
Oh,
straight
okay.
to his back, that would be 3 points to match me over
Three
and beat.
points. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Looks
yeah.
interesting. Looks interesting. And being on the sand looks a lot safer. But let me come back to this now, guys.
Mhm.
We're on the beach at Pagee. We're on the beach at Pagee. And once you hear the word beach, we're thinking of swimming. Now, are you guys going to be responsible for anybody in the water? Are lifeguards provided for this thing or what? Or it's every man for himself? Mr. Henry, want to take that one on?
Yeah, I'll take part of it. Well, we're not engaging in the water itself, just on
Hmm.
sand, right? Sand, beach sand, boxing, wrestling, and football. We're not engaging in the water at all.
Okay. What about security? Crowd control? Will that be taken care of?
I
I don't
think
want to put you guys on the spot, but I
I
want to
think
make sure everything's.
Chase can handle that question.
Yes, the
Chase?
police, if the police have been notified, so they will be there, and then we have our gentlemen in the cadet organization will also be
Okay.
standing by as security and crowd control on the day.
Sakima, Sakima, what makes you think that boxing and say wrestling will be able to compete with something like football? You know, Jamaicans are football crazy. What makes you think a youngster would want to gravitate towards boxing where he can get knocked out and leave something like football alone?
Well, it's just the understanding that there with football. I think football is in the heart of the people. I think that average Jamaican youth loves football, and they aspire to be Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. I believe that boxing has to do some work in regards to creating creating that type of profile to say it's kind of like, well, I want to be the next Akeem Mullins. I want to be the next Mike McCollum. I want to be the next Lennox Lewis. I don't think that we've been doing a good job in putting ourselves in a space where the average Jamaican youth wants to be us. But then the average Jamaican youth, he does want to be Lionel Messi. He does want to be Cristiano Ronaldo. Notwithstanding that, to represent Jamaica, there's only a certain amount of spots on that national team. There's only a certain amount of spots on the club teams, and the athletic predisposition that it takes to be a football player. Where the Jamaican football player he excels with foot speed, with the reaction time, and with raw strength. The same reason with the athletic predisposition, what we excel in track and field, it's the high turnover. It's the speed. It's the strength.
And that fast twitch muscle.
It's the fast twitch muscle, right? So now, notwithstanding that, we like to describe boxing as a series of sprints within a marathon. We believe that
Okay.
the average Jamaican youth with that athletic predisposition, that genetically that most of us are born with, you could teach that youth. He's born with that talent. Now it becomes our responsibility to develop him into a boxer. And we believe that we can do that. So then boxing just becomes opportunity where there's not, I mean, there's only so many sprinters that we can have, and there's only so many football players that we can have. And to be a sprinter in Jamaica, it's kind of like you have to be the elite of the elite.
Tough.
You know, a D level, C level, E level sprinter in Jamaica is prime time almost anywhere in the world.
Anywhere else.
But there's only so many spots, right? There's only so many spots. So then it's sort of with that same athlete, given the right development, we could turn him into a good boxer, and that becomes the marketing tool, and that becomes a call to say it's kind of like, well, you are a good athlete, but there's only so many spots to sprint, and there's only so many spots on the football team. Maybe you should try boxing. Maybe you should try wrestling.
All right. Makes sense. Mr. Henry,
Yes.
after Port Maria, where else do you plan on, bringing your endeavor to? Where else do you plan on deploying
Well,
this system?
I wish Andre was here, but he has a plan that he's working on.
Hmm.
He's actually really interested in talking with Sakim as well about boxing as well in some of these more rural communities because this is grassroots sports, right? I tell you, I met Sakima some years ago on the beach in close to James Bond Beach,
See the
which
same beach
Uh-huh.
thing? It's that beach thing.
yeah, right. Some baseball. I'm sorry, some baseball. Um, some footwork, on the beach. So I went over and said, "Hey, I'm Rick. I'm involved in wrestling and so forth." And we've hit it off ever since. He's helped us out many times. I've gone to his gym and so forth. So it's been a really good relationship. And of course, Chase and Christine. Um, I think we have a really a good team. Want to do some good things in the future.
But uh, Chase and Sakima, you guys are trying to get this thing going. Is there any help from the say the like the boxing Jamaica Boxing Board, Sakima, or Jamaica Wrestling Chase? Which one wants to go first?
Can you
Are
hear
you
me?
getting any help? Are you getting any help from the boxing board?
Well, not from the boxing board. I believe, well, because we're doing beach
Hello.
boxing.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're doing beach boxing, and because of the element that it is performed in the sand, it's not traditional boxing. So,
Hmm.
and this is, it's a catalyst. It's a pilot program to see if it's something that can be replicable and sustainable. So the JBA is definitely not involved in this one, but we always move in the light of where we want to be regularized and we want to because our ultimate goal is to improve Jamaica boxing,
Hmm.
and it is to be in compliance with regulation because ultimately at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the children are safe and there's certain rules and regulations that are adhered to and that are practiced. And notwithstanding that, it becomes my responsibility to make sure that anybody that participates in boxing is safe and is going to be
Hello.
and they're going to we're going to compete under the rules and regulations of boxing. So the JBA is not involved, but then moving forward, it's something that we would like to regularize, and then so that we could gain their support and gain other support to create a sustainable program where
All
we could
right,
put it in other parts of St. Mary.
makes sense. What about you, Mr. Neil? Is the national body involved in this, or are they interested?
All right.
Chase?
So not in this particular occasion, but there have been
Mhm.
other instances in the past where we have been looking at wrestling, as in the Olympic wrestling, where the in association with the national body would have been involved, and Rick would be the person who would be in contact with them. But as it relates to this event, no, because similarly to what Sikima said, this is beach wrestling.
Beach wrestling. Okay.
So yeah, for beach wrestling, no, but in the past where we have engaged in training at schools and so forth, then they would
Hmm.
have been involved.
We have some technical difficulty here, but Sakima,
Yes, sir.
yes. Uh, most football players here, the top ones are sort of household names. Do you think the average kid,
Hmm.
I'll go back to this again, do you think the average kid really knows about Jamaica's rich history in boxing, going back to, say, Bonnie Grant, Percy Hales, all these guys?
No, absolutely not. I don't. Well, yeah, definitely not. Like that history hasn't been preserved, and then it's
Hmm.
not being pushed out in the forefront in terms of how rich Jamaica's history actually is in
Is
boxing, and that boxing used to be one of the premier sports in Jamaica. It used to be
in Jamaica.
boxing,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, boxing, horse racing, and cricket. But then there obviously has been a definite decline in boxing. I think the golden era of Jamaican boxing was maybe 60s, 70s, and 80s. In 1980,
Hmm.
Jamaica had a nation of 3 million boasted four world champions.
Yep.
Mike McCullum, Trevor Berbick, Lloyd Hunnigan, and Simon Brown, all at
Simon
the
Brown.
same
Hmm.
time. Unheard of, for a nation so small to have four world champions at the same time. And it becomes our responsibility to get Jamaica back there because I believe that we definitely have the talent to do so. Where we lack and where we're falling short is the development, and a part of the development is also the marketing and the branding and the legacy in terms of understanding,
Hmm.
letting Jamaica know, or the average Jamaican youth know that like, well, this is a part of our past. It is a part of our legacy. We do have a rich boxing history and a boxing legacy, but then there has been a decline in boxing, and where I said myself, I benefited from a resurgence in boxing, in
In
early
boxing, okay.
2010. But I believe that boxing is in a state of limbo again, where the state of limbo actually creates opportunity where we can actually like get boxing back to the forefront in terms of where we need to be, because
Mm-hmm.
Lennox Lewis, Errol Spence, a lot of these fighters who have Jamaican heritage, who have reached the pinnacle of Jamaica, the ultimate pinnacle of world boxing. World boxing. Their lineage and their heritage is Jamaican. So as I mentioned before, just like we do have the gene pool and the genetics to create fighters on that level. Where we're missing is the actual components of development within our
Development.
nation. So we need to come together and pool our limited resources and actually come up with a plan, like a national plan, in terms of how we're going to develop a national program where we can turn out world class fighters consistently.
Yep. Okay, good, good. Mr. Henry, are you hearing us? Mr. Henry, is your audio on? Check your audio. Check your audio, Mr. Henry. Check your audio. Because I wanted to find out if you have any sponsors, if you guys have anybody sponsoring you. Chase, until Mr. Henry comes back, could you shed some light on that? Any sponsors for the program?
There are no big name sponsors or corporate
Mm-hmm.
sponsors. What we have been doing is donations from persons involved in wrestling in the diaspora, the Canadian and
Okay.
US diaspora in particular, individual donations from people here in Jamaica. Well, most notably Christine
Mm-hmm.
and I and some wrestlers, St. James, who
Mm-hmm.
are interested in. But as for corporate sponsors,
No, not yet, not yet.
I
But
know that
I know
some, but I'm not sure as to what
mhm,
of that.
of something like that. Sakima, you had done some work on the grassroots level down at Majesty Gardens. Could you shed some light on that and how the Portmore one will be different or similar?
Well, the Majesty Gardens, it's a community that I formed a relationship with one of the caretakers in the community there, Calvin, who uses basketball. His tool of intervention to reach the community there is basketball. Where the uniqueness of Majesty is that it's a community in Kingston where the sport of choice is basketball. It's not football and it's not track and field, but basketball is a tool of intervention used there. Over the years, I have developed a relationship with Calvin, and he recognized that there are some children there that are interested in boxing, but they don't have the resources and the facility to have a sustainable boxing program. So what we did was just try to bring awareness to the community, bring awareness to what's going on with the basketball program there, bring awareness to what's going on with they have an after school program, and then also just to do introductional tutorial boxing lesson there to the children that have been asking for boxing. And as you bring that up, I linked up with Calvin today. I also am the boxing coach of the Fight for Peace program. Calvin called me earlier today. He said, "Listen, I got a kid that has been asking to do boxing ever since the last program. I'm going to bring him down to Trenchtown, where we did through the Fight for Peace
Mhm.
program. I'm also the boxing coach in the Trenchtown Community Center. That's at the Mexico Center in Trenchtown." And he brought a kid down. He brought a kid down, and I was able to introduce him to introductory level boxing today. And then I was able to drop him off back at Majesty Gardens. Sometimes it's that small, and sometimes it's just grassroots
Okay.
like that, where it's just like it's in the program that you were talking about. We had about 50, 60 kids come out to this one. For this
Wow.
one, there was just like a special
Mhm.
kid that has been letting Calvin know, just like, I want to do boxing, I want to do boxing, I want to do boxing, and he knows that I do the Friday and the Saturday program in Trenchtown. So he made it his initiative to bring the kid out to Trenchtown today, and it was my responsibility to give him an introduction class in boxing, and then to also get him back home. But sometimes it's grassroots like that. Speaking of the corporate sponsors, we don't have a lot of help, we don't have a lot of resources, but we have the love and we have the passion. And sometimes it might not be about us saving 1,000 kids, but even if it's just we get one on the right path, and we instill the
Mhm.
transferable life skills that we've been talking about, that have that are universal throughout martial arts, wrestling, boxing, and all the other martial arts. It's kind of like, we feel that we're living our passion and we're doing our job, and then even if it's just one kid.
All right. Rick, are you back, Rick? Can you hear us? We're not hearing your voice, Rick. Look like something's wrong with your audio. Something is wrong with your audio. Something is wrong with your audio. You're gone off again. You're off again, Rick. Anyway, who's it? Chase. With this whole wrestling thing, what's the how should I say? How often does a kid get injured? How often does a wrestler get injured? Is it something that we have to be worried about?
We have had no injuries at
So far,
all.
knock
None.
on wood, man.
Only with karate, not never with wrestling.
But let me ask you, Chase. When a kid comes in comes in for the first time,
Yes.
what is his how should I say it, his response like? Is he expecting the WWE type of wrestling or what? Is he
Yes.
shocked
Yes.
or
Yes. Yes. Most persons, children included, when they hear wrestling, they think about WWE with jumping on somebody and
yep,
so when they see a demonstration they might think that this wrestling is lame,
yeah,
but when they get to love it, it is very intricate, the movements, and so interested once they start to participate and know what it is really about.
how close is it to judo?
There are some similarities
Mhm.
with judo. Judo looks more on the spiritual aspect of things.
Uh-huh.
So judo does emphasize. I don't even know if I should use the word spiritual, but a more internal focus, and a
Okay.
personal growth using the martial arts and meditation. Judo is also more. Um, there are more techniques though than
More
in
techniques in judo,
yeah.
okay?
So because
Than
judo includes throws that are not in wrestling, because you can do
not in
some judo
wrestling, okay.
throws in wrestling because they're um, but
Oh,
they're grappling arts. It's
grappling, okay.
really no striking, it's grappling, and it's really about using the opponent's own strength and motion against them. So it's not about physical
Against them,
strength,
okay.
it's more about
Cutting out.
balance, technique, speed.
Hmm.
So they're
All right,
similar in that
Sakima.
sense.
Wait, sorry, sorry, Chase. I thought you were finished. Sakima, let me ask you and Chase something here. You come to Port Maria, you go to Pagee Beach, you see a kid in your sport who excels, a very talented kid, a kid who you know has basically everything that the sport requires and the sport needs. What's your next move? Sakima, you first.
Well, right. So then, that's where the team comes in, where Chase and Christine comes in, Rick comes in, and Mr. Anderson comes in to kind of create a support system around this kid, and not just this kid and all the other kids, but then there are some of the special kids that, as I mentioned before, it's not about turning every kid that comes into the program into a world champion, but there
Hmm.
are special kids out there with special talents, and then with this kid, you kind of like you want to get them onto the national program. You want to get them to buy into what martial arts is, what wrestling is, and what boxing is. But then you also want to get them on a pathway where they can compete in the and under the regulated fights and the regulated competition that the national federation is putting on. Because at the pinnacle of all amateur sports is the Olympics. So then you want this kid to get on the pathway so that he can aspire to become an Olympian. And the only way that he's going to do that is to gain experience to competing under the correct rules and regulations in terms of
Hmm.
what that discipline is. If it's the rules and regulations of boxing, it's the rules and regulations of wrestling. But that's what it is. It's to get the support system, and then it's to get them on the pathway where they can become Olympian. And I say that, like to become Olympian, not it that it's something that's easy. You know, like, because I believe that Jamaica, we're light years away in terms of producing an Olympic level boxer right now, because of all the development components that have that will go into it. But you want to get a kid on that pathway. You want to get him in that support system, and you also want it to become a system where he's training regularly. You know, where he's hooking up with
Hmm.
myself as a boxing coach or Chase as a wrestling coach. It has to be something that has to be regular schedule activity, regular schedule competition, so that he understands that it's not something that happens over life, but it's through dedication, hard work, and discipline, and having a goal, having a plan.
All right. Chase, does that hold the same for you?
Yes. What Rick and Christine and I are working on now, to try, get all the youth that show promise in wrestling into
Hmm.
scholarships that they can continue in the US. And so they can continue their
Okay.
education in the US and participate in wrestling where there's more of a focus there, so that we can train talent, um, and let them get a taste of the outside world and broaden um, their horizons. Yes, but that is as it relates to wrestling in the partnership. But I must admit that I have a goal as it relates to the cadet organization that I command, because as it relates to I find those who take onto the boxing quite nicely. I want to get those persons also integrated into chess boxing, so long as they are um, willing to. They can participate in the World Chess Boxing Championships for youth. India and Russia are going away with that our youth can benefit from.
Okay.
And the best thing about it is that they don't need to be as proficient a boxer as somebody who does straight boxing. So
Okay.
long as they're proficient enough and balanced with the chess, they can score a win. So I want the youth to be able to participate in initiatives like these that gives them exposure, also win a championship on behalf of Jamaica, enrich their lives. Like how you saying about get them thing from athletics. Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
that is my own perspective and aim on it.
All right. No, so far, Sakiba and Chase, we have been talking about the, the youngsters themselves. How do the parents view this whole thing? Because that's an integral part of it. How do the parents see it? Parents may be satisfied with them doing track and field, but what do the, how do the parents look at boxing and wrestling? Sakiba, you want to
Under
take that
my
one?
head, oh, sorry.
No, yeah, Chase, go ahead.
Go
I'll
ahead,
follow.
Chase. Hmm.
Well, parents are eager to get the children out of the home, so anything that they're doing that's positive. And then for many of them come home excited, showing them a new move they learn, they're glad, and it
Hmm.
has payoffs too, because one thing that parents like is less trouble at home, and the experience
Hmm.
from the sport itself builds a level of less trouble at home. So the parents got to send them out.
Sakiba, what do you think about that? How do the parents look at it?
Yeah, one the boxing, because of the nature of the sport and the intent is to hit and the intent is to hurt you. And there, you know, like there has been a lull in regards to parents understanding really and truly like what boxing is.
Hmm.
But ultimately, they understand that the intent is to hit and the intent is to hurt. So you'll find that a lot of parents are apprehensive. Another thing that I found strangely about boxing is that when it comes to the parents, they believe that the development of the and it becomes something that stagnates the development of the child, where the development of the boxer is solely the responsibility of the coach and the gym or the organization that the
Hmm.
athlete is participating in. So we need to get more awareness out there in regards to some of the parents that of these up and coming boxers kind of like want to be more actively involved in their child's sport of choice, Two, understanding that like to be more actively involved. Also, there's an element of support where they have to support the child also in regards to some of the expense that comes with
With
participate
it comes along with it.
in sport. And three, understanding that yes, as you had mentioned, though the intent in boxing is to hit and it is to hurt, but because that is the intent, the sport is highly regulated, and it actually is one of the most safer sports where you have less hospital related injuries in a sport like boxing than you have in football and cricket, gymnastics, and cheerleading, where those sports you have a lot of accidents that happen where
Hmm.
children end up going to hospital. But because boxing, because of the intent of boxing, and because it's so highly regulated, you don't
Sorry.
have as many hospital related injuries in the sport. And myself as a coach, the protocols are put in place to protect the athlete. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you have a medical before the athlete goes into the ring. You have a medical after they see the doctor after they come out of the ring to make sure that they were everything's okay, especially if there was a knockout or a stoppage. You also have you put in place the coach becomes the first line of defense for his athlete, where the coach at any time
Hmm.
can stop a fight if he believes that his athlete has had too much. A referee can stop the fight because they're the closest to the fighters when they're in the ring, and also the
When they're in the
ringside
right.
doctor can stop the fight. So then you have these
Sorry, guys.
policies that are put in place to make sure that ultimately at the end of the day you have different people that are in place to make sure that the athlete remains as safe as possible,
As safe
understanding
as
that
possible.
the intent is to hit and to hurt. And again, like we're developing amateur boxers, and nobody comes out to watch a kid get beat up. It
To
becomes the
get beat
coach's
up. Hmm.
responsibility, the referee's responsibility, the doctor's responsibility. Once it is that you realize that another athlete is showing
Sorry.
dominance over another athlete, it becomes suffice and good enough to say it's kind of like, all right, well, we've seen enough of this one.
Yeah. Okay.
We can stop this
Throw the
fight.
towel in. Throw in the towel.
Yeah, no longer competitive. And again, it's not a professional athlete. Their career is not on the line. They're not being paid. So it's kind of like, or we, there's some things that we have to go back to the gym and work on, because we're not here to see you get hurt.
Okay. And you know what, Sekima? Hold on. Something I've always admired about you. Most people look at boxing as a sport of just brute force and brawn.
Right.
You're a man who has his MBA, right?
Yes, sir. Not my MBA, but I have a master's degree in sports business management.
Sports businessman. So you have shown that there's also a cerebral aspect to it. You got to have the brains also. You can't have both.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. I
mhm.
believe Sorry not to cut you off, but then to go on what Chase said in speaking about the Chase. What is it? It's the chess boxing, right?
Aspect is there, yeah. Yeah, man,
Yeah,
chess box.
absolutely. So then, like again, one of the things that we like to say is that like boxing is a high speed physical chess match. You know,
Yeah, it's true. It's true, 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 true.
it's a high speed physical chess match. Once you realize that you're in the ring, brute force and aggression is not going to cut it against somebody who's technically sound. So you have to be thinking 3 4 moves ahead in terms of, all
Ahead of the
right,
next
well,
guy. Hmm.
I'm going to show high, but I'm going to go low. I'm going to feint left, but I'm going to go right. I'm going to feint right, but I'm going to go left. I'm going to continue to do this round to hopefully be able to catch him 3 4 rounds down the line, so that he thinks that this is what I'm trying to get. It's that level of chess that you're playing.
So, guys, from what you've said, everything at Patch Beach should be. It should be an interesting day. It should be an interesting day. Is there anything you guys are
Definitely.
asking of the public? Any request you want to make of the public out there?
No, man, we just want you guys to come out in your numbers, St. Mary.
Yeah, man, get out. Come with your best behavior.
What do you
Come to
know?
learn, to participate, to cheer.
Right, that behavior, that behavior is important. That behavior is important.
Right.
So, do you have for boxing? Do you have a ring set up, or will it be just a line drawn in the sand?
Right, yeah, we're just going to use the sand also.
The sand.
Heavily dependent on footwork. So that, as we mentioned, it's not regulation boxing; it's beach boxing. We're
Yeah.
taking the element of the sand, but the barriers and the boundaries will be set. The athletes will know that they have to stay within these parameters.
How many rounds?
3 rounds.
3 rounds. My gosh,
Yeah,
to
three,
move
three.
3 rounds in that sand, man. That's that's gonna
Yeah,
kill your calves and your and your
yeah.
quads. Oh my god. I've
You know,
tried
Continue.
jogging on the sand and it ain't easy.
1 minute
and
in boxing feels like 10 minutes, and one punch feels
yeah,
like throwing one punch in boxing feels like throwing 100, and 1 minute in there in
100.
that sand is gonna feel like 10.
Yeah, Chase, I was watching that clip. I don't know how those guys moving at ankle deep sand. It must be tough. It
Difficult.
must be real
Yes,
tough,
it's
man.
difficult.
But Sakim, it has to be. But Sakima, just to throw something at you here. I know you haven't officially hung up the gloves. What would get you, Sakima Mullings, back in the ring?
The right price. At
The
this
right
stage in my
price.
career, absolutely, man. At this
right.
stage, I'm an old man, man.
yeah, no.
Sakima Mullins is a boxing grandfather right now, so it would have
Grandfather,
to be
okay.
it would have to make dollars to make sense, and
To make sense to you. Hmm.
yeah, the right fight, the right price, and then also like I'm very passionate about like fighting in Jamaica, and I believe
Hmm.
that if I could bring a championship level fight to Jamaica, a meaningful
To
fight
Jamaica.
where
Hmm.
there's a title or something on the line against the right
Hmm.
opponent, where everything makes sense, and there is well, material money, a significant amount of money that we say that is material, so that again, like, so I can push forward projects like this, so that we don't have to dependent on corporate sponsorship or fundraising to kick off other projects in terms of what we want to get involved in and moving boxing forward in the
Moving
future. But
boxing
ultimately,
forward.
at the end of the day, Jamaica boxing doesn't pay the best. So then there's a lot of initiatives and programs and things that I am a part of that I would like to push, but again, the resources are just not there
The resource
financially
is
for
not
me
there.
to
Hmm.
push my own programs. And taking a significant fight, a meaningful fight, if that's the way that money is supposed to come about, me, I would definitely be for it.
Okay, good. I see Mr. Henry is having technical
Can you
difficulties,
hear? You
but
can't hear me, right?
yeah, I'm hearing you, but we're not seeing you. but it's okay. All right, Mr. Henry.
Yes.
I was asking these two gentlemen about sponsorship. You're based in the States, but how would that go? How would that go ahead for you to actually get sponsors from the Jamaican private sector to help support what you want to do? Any success in that area?
Well, I don't have any. We don't have any sponsors yet, but I think
Yeah.
as the sport, sandboxing or sand wrestling grows, hopefully some
Hmm.
people will be attracted to it. As a leisure. Let's go on the beach and wrestle or box. As of now, nothing. Maybe the beer companies have come on board and so forth, but we're not sure yet. We're trying
Uh-huh.
to maybe team up with beach volleyball and so forth. I think
Okay. Hmm.
that could be a good one as well. But I definitely think teaming up with beach football would be a good way to go.
Would be a good
Not
way.
like
Hmm.
Akima said, not every kid is going to be a great football player, but a lot of these kids in Jamaica, they're great athletes. They're also very aggressive. So how can we harness that aggression into boxing or wrestling? And
Right,
we,
okay. Channel it into something good. Now,
yeah,
let me pose something tricky here to you. Beach wrestling, beach boxing. You know, in Jamaica, we don't have a lot of public beaches left, right? Pagee is one of, let's face it, Pagee is one of the few of them left. So you guys may have to make Pagee your headquarters, your your home stadium, so to speak. Where else could you guys go with this thing? Seriously, thinking about all the few public beaches left. Where else could you guys go with this?
there's
There is James
Portland.
Bond Beach,
There's
James Bond.
Portland. Yeah,
Portland also, Hope Bay.
yeah.
There's a great beach there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not so
Anything on the
sure of
South
the,
Coast?
So, you
of
know,
the
uh,
beach.
you know, Chase, I think we should try and team up with the fishermen. So,
Mhm.
um, at some point, Pagee gets developed, we can still have a place for these beach sports. We need to build infrastructure like restrooms, running water, and so forth. I just think we need to preserve um, many more of Jamaican beaches for the people of Jamaica. They can really enjoy it without having to pay a large fee, and though
Right,
it
right, right. That's true. Mhm.
should be in
You
place.
need to. Yeah, but
Great.
it honestly, it would be great if you guys could sort of help get something going at Pagee in way of, we say, restrooms and other facilities. That would be great. But then I fear it's gonna be too become too commercialized, and we'll lose that natural aspect of the whole beach, which is what people love.
Well,
What do you think about that? Mm.
Andre Anderson's he wrote a letter last week. I saw he's working on something to get us, some better exposure, some longevity in that area. I think.
Or everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so gentlemen, before we get off here, is there anything you three would like to say? Any point that I may have missed? We want to start with Mr. Neil. Mr. Neil, is there anything you want to say to the public out there about this event coming up?
I just want to say that everyone, we be there as much as is possible to get the young ones out. We need more positive youth engagement so that they do the gangs and to other undesirable behavior.
Mm-hmm.
We want to bring back youth engagement. We want to bring back fun and positive engagement in St. Mary in particular, because St. Mary Magro, as the youngster says, and in Jamaica in general. All right, so
Right.
come out, have make this a start of a revolution overall.
All right. Good. Good. Sakima, your parting shots.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely the same thing. I just want to tell everybody to come out. Just come with your vibes. Come looking to have a good time. Come enjoy the boxing. Come enjoy the beach. Come enjoy the sand. Come enjoy the fun. And hopefully, it's something that this is a catalyst. It's a pilot program, but something that we're able to stick together, get it funding, and it becomes something that's replicable and sustainable.
All right. And before we leave, Mr. Henry, could you give them the information once more? Where, when, what time? Would you mind going ahead with that, sir? Mm-hmm.
Pagee Beach, October 20th, between 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. Come on out, have fun, wrestle, box, play football, and we're also hoping that maybe some person that owns grocery stores, shops in Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
patty stores, come on out, lend us a hand, bring us some water, some food for the kids. Let's build this thing for Pagee Beach. Let's create a way that we can have more tourism come to Port Maria. Therefore, helps the economic development of the area. Pump more money into the local shop.
Okay, so there you have it, people. If you want to know some more, there is the flyer. Pagee Beach. Pagee Beach, Port Maria, one of the best beaches you'll find in the island. And it's going to be on the 20th, and it starts at 1 o'clock, ends at about 6. Come out and see football,
Call
wrestling,
us.
boxing.
Yep.
Yes, go ahead. Everything will be there, guys. Everything.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to finish with, sir?
No, thank you very much for having us on.
All right. So there you have it, guys. 2 big events in St. Mary on the 18th at the Boscobel Cricket Grounds. We'll have the Bronx Bombers against Jimmy Adams 11. So you guys can come out and watch some cricket. And that would be on the 18th, and on the 20th at Pagee Beach. Head for the beach, guys. Head for the beach, and you are gonna be entertained. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you for turning up. I want to thank you for being here, and I really do hope and pray that your event will be a great success. Because, listen, as good as we are in track and field and coming up in football, I think we need to be a bit more diverse. I think we need to be more diverse in the sports we do, because, like Sakima said, hey, room in track and field and cricket, listen, the real estate isn't there. So if we can encourage kids to branch out into other sports, and it can help in their social development also, and
Yes.
keep them off the streets, keep them grounded. So, gentlemen, once again, thanks for coming out. And people, ladies and gentlemen, you want some entertainment on that day, Pagee Beach is where you go, just like a regatta. So, gentlemen, as we sign off tonight, thank you very much. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you, thank you, thank you for
All
having
right,
us.
man. Good, good. Nice to have you guys here. Nice
Take
to
care.
have you guys. All
Take
right,
care,
Roy
everyone.
Jones, take care.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, man. Okay. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, there you had it. There you have it. Port Maria, Heroes Day, Bash at Pagee Beach, starting on October 20th at 1 o'clock to 6. The poster said 3, but it's actually 1 o'clock. And if you're in the area, guys, if you're from Port Maria, anywhere in St. Mary, you want something to do on that day, that Sunday, hey, head to Pagee Beach and you will be entertained. And 2 days before that, on the 18th, at the Buscabel Cricket Grounds, you want to see guys from back in the day. You're gonna have the Bronx Crusaders at the Buscabel Cricket Ground, the Bronx Crusaders, and trust me, you are gonna see some blasts from the past. These guys are, hey, some of these guys are very good. I mean, they may be older, but hey, the skill never leaves you. I mean, the level of fitness may go, but the skill will always be there. So you want to see guys like Vincent Quaco Dixon, Ruel Worrell, Keith McRae, Ralston Samuels, and I could go on and on. Courtney Walters, these guys who thrilled you in the 70s and the 80s with wonderful cricket. In those days, St. Mary was one of the top parishes for cricket. This is all a tribute to Mr. Cricket himself, Dr. Crawford. Dr. Crawford, who did everything and anything for St. Mary Cricket. Come out and pay tribute to the man. Come out and pay tribute to him. So it's the Bronx Crusaders versus Jimmy Adams, St. Mary Stalwarts. And Jimmy Adams was no slouch. He was West Indies cricket captain. So let's see if he still got it. I was speaking to Vincent Quaker Dixon, and he was telling me that it's been years since he held a bat, but I know those forearm muscles and that wrist still good. I can still see him playing that shot through the onside. Come out, guys. October 18th. It starts at 10 o'clock. Buscabel Cricket Ground. So for all those who tuned in and for those who will watch this on the replay, thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the whole broadcast. If you have comments, just drop them in the chat and let's see how this turns out. But please, boxing, beach wrestling, it should be fun. It's going to be something that we haven't seen for a while. Some of us have never seen Greco-Roman wrestling unless it's on the Olympics. So guys, calling it a night, signing out for now. Garfield Waller from Rock the Mic. Peace. Enough love.